Hey guys, welcome back to Rennch. In this video, we are going to do some incredible custom taillight modification to this 1969 911 ST. So behind me is the rump of my 1969 911 ST. If you guys have been following this build for the last couple of years, you've seen me do incredible modifications to the body, putting rear quarter panels on, putting flares on, crazy work to the front end to get it to work. But essentially, everything I've done from the outside makes the car look like a stock 911. If you really wanted to, you could weld in some Porsche engine mounts, drop a Porsche motor in, drop a 915 transmission in, and nobody would be any the wiser on this car unless they had a very watchful eye. Now that ends today. The mods I'm gonna do to this car today are, I don't wanna say irreversible, because that's not ever the case. You can always cut metal and weld it back in. However, this is going to be a blatant differentiation between this car and pretty much any other Porsche I've ever seen of this era. And that involves doing some very custom taillights. Now I could have done anything with these lights. I've always loved the 911R lights, but I thought, how can I make them more updated? So in the renderings of this car, you'll see that the 911R lights are integrated into the body. Now I needed some help with this. I don't obviously know how to do custom LED ring lights, and for that, I've enlisted my friends over at Lauren Teal. Now Lauren Teal is my buddy Nick Espinoza from Maryland. He does some really cool, incredible custom taillights for G-bodies and I think 964s. But his G-body lights, which I have right here, will just bolt on to your car. So let me do a quick little unboxing of what he sent me, and then I'll show you where we're gonna go with these. I haven't really opened this thing yet. So this is Lauren Teal. You can check them out on Instagram and of course laurenteal.com. It's spelled pretty funky, Laurenteile. Got a license plate. I got a nice note. Look at that, you can put my name on the note and my logo, which is cool. And so this is what you get in this package, which are new housings. And if you guys know, these housings and the interfaces between them are pretty crap, but they can give you the kind of that, like, almost that Singer 4.0 look. This is what they look like. They bolt right on, and they have all kinds of cool, like, integrated LEDs into these rings, and that's what these wires hanging out do. And then they have lights that go in the middle here, so you've got like backup lights, turn signals, you can do amber, you can do red. There's all kinds of cool different options for these, but these will bolt right onto your car and completely change the look of the car. So using this technology, he and I have had like a million conversations, and I said, well, how do we do this? And so what we've done is we've come up with a way that is a completely re-engineered version of these lights, which involve crazy pods that I'll show you guys in a second, but they're going to allow me to do this beautiful integrated taillight look that I'm going for. Now, my favorite thing about this entire piece of the project is that all of this employs the most modern kind of manufacturing that a single guy in a garage can do. It uses Fusion 360, which is a 3D modeling software. You can design stuff in the software. You can send stuff off to a 3D printer or send stuff off to a company called Send Cut Send, where they will take your designs that you've done in the software, cut them out with their cool little laser water, whatever it is, and then you get these beautiful custom pieces in the mail. Okay, so let me show you how this all fits together. It's very ingenious. It starts with this internal kind of exoskeleton, if you will. And this allows the whole thing to bolt up to the car. This will mount to the car first and goes in the factory locations like this. Then these external pods will screw onto this part. So you screw these in. These are all like super prototype, 3D printed. They will be made better, but they will hopefully work for a location for me to get these lights to bolt on. All right, so then you've got basically this, and this bolts on the car like that. And then these are the lenses And the lenses then screw in to the pods. Like this. So now we have this whole pod system, and we haven't completely figured out the length of these barrels yet, because they do stick out a little further than I want them to at the moment, but that's okay. It's all prototyping. But they're gonna work for what I need them to do, which is to locate these external parts. So imagine then this is all bolted in right here, okay? Then my cool parts from Send Cut Send go over the top of this, and these will be welded into the car so that these things will be essentially Frenched in, if you will, to the car. So I'm going to be reducing the width of each of these so they're really tight to the car. But what I need to do basically is use this exoskeleton in its current state, bolt it in, and then I can tack together each one of these covers. And then I have to do, of course, like tremendous body work to make it look like it flows and is completely part of the car. But man, is that going to be cool or what? Now, my first technical difficulty I have to deal with is that this lip of the car, which is this kind of outer lip, is 10 millimeters proud of this inner lip. So I've actually got to bring this inner out a little bit, and so that way this thing will be flush instead of tilting in. To do that, I've gotten some 10 millimeter round rod, and I'm going to bend a piece around this and then weld it in. So now I have both of these surfaces the same exact height. Now, to help me simulate the bend so that I can take this thing to the bench vise and bend it the exact same way, I've got some hollow brake line material here, and I just want to basically bend this thing around the piece. So now I have a good bend template to use on my vise. All right, so I've got this thing prepped and clamped here. I'm all ground off everywhere. My first move is going to be to just weld this part to the car, and that's going to locate it. And then I'm going to clamp and move my way down so this thing stays super tight on here. But it's doing what it's supposed to. It looks like it's supposed to. So I'm welded in here, and now this bad boy has a nice flush surface to mount to. Cool. All right, now that that's done, it is time to mount the lights. I have one of these handy dandy clip assortments from that company that won't sponsor me, but they should. Shave that down a little bit. She's gonna have to be shaved down. Why is that all the way over? Look at that big gap that I don't love. There's the brake. Okay guys, it's been a couple of days and I've had some challenges, as I do seemingly with every step of this build. I thought my 3D printed files weren't going to work, but I think I've made some modifications and they will. So let me catch you up to where I am and what the current plan is. First of all, I've cleaned up my garage, so it's much better looking now. But if you see here, I kind of made a mistake actually. I put this round rod, I should have put it above, but I really put it on this lower edge, and that lower edge is actually where the molding is supposed to go. So I'm just gonna have to figure that out when the time comes. But anyway, I put round rod all around here and then up along this edge as well. I've done that in each light, so it actually makes a really nice flush area. And then these are the 3D printed parts from Lauren Teal. It's hard for me to express how light and fragile this thing is. This is really not a production type part, so they've actually both broken. But the challenge I was having is that when I had these spacers in there, I couldn't get my custom made pieces to fit. But I realized if I just eliminated the spacers and stuck them here with some tape, I think I can get it to fit. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to like really lightly tack these things onto the body of the car just so I can step back and get some eyeballs on it and see how it's going to look. And then we can all look together on how it's going to flush up with the car. Now this is a little tricky because I don't want this to bond very well. I'm literally going to tack this on to remove it. So I want to make sure that this edge lines up the way I want it to. And I'm going to put, a tack right here on the top. And then the most important part is here. There's a really thin spot on this metal, and I don't want that. It kind of buckles, so I have to make sure that that's tacked and won't loop up on me, which it has been doing. I kind of need a third hand to start this, but I will make do. Hopefully with some vice grips. Ow! Imagine that. You get hit by molten metal as you're wearing Vans with little socks. I'm pretty sure they tell you not to do any of that in the instruction book. Alright, so I should probably put a glove on. Get up. Not too much. Don't get too crazy. Damn it. I needed that to not do that. Whoa. That is arcing the wrong way. Very much so. Oh wow, that really got wacky. How did that happen? Come on. I need to fully fly. All right, so there we go. This is how they stick out. And that's what they look like from the back. I'm pretty pleased with this. I think it looks really cool. And it's definitely enough for me to continue on with what I've been doing. I was really worried I had to modify and completely redo the 3D printing on that sort of internal skeleton, but this is actually going to work great. I think I have to reprint them and get them made a bit stronger, but this is a really nice prototype. I'm going to have to clean this edge up here, and I think make it flatter. And of course, this edge will have to get flushed and cut and all that stuff. And then I'll do all the blending and everything I need to get this thing to be, you know, super dialed and flush and perfect. But I'm encouraged, people. I am encouraged. So here's the really rough version with the bumper on and with the deck lid on. And it looks awesome. So what's happening now is we are redesigning the skeleton on the inside, because what I've got is a male on this side and a male on the other side. So we're redesigning the skeleton to accept the male screw-in lenses. And that will hopefully happen in the next day or so, and I'll get them 3D printed locally. And hopefully they'll work, and I can finally move on to finishing this. All right, guys, that's going to be it for this episode. I have to wait for the new 3D print file and to print the internals out before I can actually final weld, which kind of has been par for the course over the last couple of months. It seems like every time I want to just get one project done, I have to completely refabricate it from scratch and kind of do everything over, and it takes way longer than I hope it will. Anyway, what a cool time we live in, that we get to have a concept of something and then dial it up on our computer and then send it to a place and get these beautiful laser cut pieces or 3D printed pieces. It's a very cool time to be a guy in a garage building a car. And I hope you guys are starting to experiment and explore some of the new technologies out there, because they are really, really cool for guys like you and me. Thank you very much for watching. As always, we'll see you next time.